Hi, I'm Steve Younis. Welcome to the Speeding Bulletin, your Superman news video recapping the events of the week December 4th to December 10th, 2015. Our top news stories this week included costume designer Michael Wilkinson reveals some spoiler details about Batman v Superman, the true identity of Hank Henshaw is revealed on Supergirl, and we have the results of our 2015 SHIELD Awards. Let's check out these stories and more in this week's Speeding Bulletin. In movie news, 24 hours after the new Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice trailer was released, I posted my complete breakdown of what we saw, scene by scene, with over 80 different stills from the footage. Make sure you check it out at the website dated December 4th. Ben Affleck introduced a slightly different version of the new Batman v Superman trailer on Good Morning America on December 4th. The shorter version of the trailer, running at 1 minute and 50 seconds, has one new camera angle showing the back of Lex Luthor as he approaches Clark and Bruce. Also, there's one slightly different line from Batman in the video, and he says he's the one who brought the war to us. Fans in Brazil were in attendance at Comic-Con Experience 2015 this past weekend, and a number of Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice action figures from Mattel were on display, including an Epic Battle Superman action figure, a Wonder Woman action figure, and an Aquaman action figure. Costume designer Michael Wilkinson also attended that Comic-Con in Brazil, where he spoke with Brazilian website Omelette about both Batman v Superman and the upcoming Justice League movies. He did reveal that the Superman costume is made of new material, and also that Zack Snyder wanted to include a Joseph Campbell quote in the suit. So there's a quote that reads, "Where we thought to stand alone, we will be with all the world." And they translated that into Kryptonian, and they put it through the S on the chest. Wilkinson also confirmed that the scene we've seen with Batman and Superman in the desert is a dream sequence. He said Zack had a great idea of this sort of nightmarish vision, almost a vision of the future and a post-apocalyptic vision. It's sort of a way of representing the obsessive quality that Bruce Wayne has about the threat of Superman. DC Entertainment has announced that the animated movie Lego DC Comics Superheroes Justice League Cosmic Clash will be available on Blu-ray Combo Pack and DVD on March 1st next year. It will take all the efforts of the Justice League and a few of their superpowers to keep Brainiac from adding Earth to his miniaturized collection of planets in the all-new animated feature Lego DC Comics Superheroes Justice League Cosmic Clash. In TV news, in the recent episode of Supergirl titled Red-Faced, Kara and James have an interesting chat about feeling unable to show their true feelings to the world because of gender or racial inequity with the society. The Hollywood Reporter spoke to the executive producers of the show about this topic, with executive producer Ali Adler saying, "We're talking about what people are talking about out there in the world. We like the verisimilitude of mirroring our world with the real world. As much as we can do that and as much as people can relate to who these people are, despite superpowers, that's our goal." Executive producer Andrew Kreisberg also reveals that the super flare power exhibited by Superman in recent comic books was the inspiration for the idea behind Kara losing her powers in this recent episode. He said, "It was a Jeff Johns idea, which was that Superman or any Kryptonian cells are basically suffused with solar radiation, and that's where they get their powers from, and heat vision is an expulsion of that energy. That's where it comes from, so you could just basically run out and you would need to recharge." Episode 7 of Supergirl was earmarked as a game changer for the series, with the true identity of Hank Henshaw revealed during the Human for a Day episode. DC Comics published an interview with actor David Harewood in which he talks about the big revelation, how long he's known for, and what it means for his character moving forward. Skip ahead if you haven't seen this episode yet. For everyone else who is still with us, Harewood said, "I was really pleased. Martian Manhunter is such a huge character. It took me in a new, different direction, and it was brilliant for me because as much as I couldn't really find an angle to play Hank Henshaw prior to then. It was interesting." Superman homepage writer T.A. Ewart reviewed this episode of Supergirl, giving it a 4 out of 5 score, saying, "Supergirl is a reminder that we can be better if we truly want to, and the greatest power we possess is to move one another positively." DC Comics has also published an interview with Jeremy Jordan, the actor who plays Win Schott on Supergirl. Jordan spoke about Win's relationship with Kara, his own love of comic book superheroes, and what the connection is between his character and the Toyman. He said, "I was really excited when I read the script for episode 10 because I get to delve a whole lot deeper, and it was a really challenging episode for me. It was rewarding to do it." DC Comics also published an interview with Kyla Lee, who spoke about her role as Alex Danvers, the relationship with her and her sister, Hank Henshaw, and whether or not there's any romance for her character. She said the only thing that you even see even remotely hinted at is whatever that whole dynamic is between Alex and Maxwell Lord. CBS has released a couple of promo videos for the 8th episode of Season 1 of Supergirl, titled Hostile Takeover. In this episode, Kara goes toe-to-toe with Astra when her aunt challenges Kara's beliefs about her mother. Also, Kat is threatened with being removed as the CEO of Catco after a hacker exposes her private and damaging emails. This episode is scheduled to air on Monday, December 14th at 8 p.m. on CBS. Italia Ricci, best known for her role in Chasing Life, has been cast to play Siobhan Smythe, aka the Silver Banshee, in upcoming episodes of Supergirl. Siobhan Smythe will be introduced as Cat Grant's latest hire at Catco, who at first becomes a work nemesis for Kara, but proves a more deadly foe for Supergirl when she becomes DC villain Silver Banshee. Her first appearance will be in episode 14. Supergirl star Melissa Benoist and Kyla Lee will both be attending as special guests at the C2E2 convention in Chicago in 2016. This will be the first time that the pair have attended a convention together, with both actors set to participate in a Supergirl panel while also being available to sign autographs. No official dates or times have been announced as yet. The 2016 C2E2 convention will be held across March 18th to 20th at McCormick Place in Chicago. And in a photo reminiscent of the cover of Action Comics #1, Melissa Benoist hoists a 1967 Jaguar E-Type above her head for a photo shoot appearing in the latest edition of the Vanity Fair magazine. Benoist says, "I'm growing up the way she is and learning the same things, how to be a woman, how to own my strength." In comic book news, DC Comics will be publishing a new digital-first Supergirl comic book title, which will tie into the CBS TV series starting in 2016. The collected trade paperback is listed as being released in August next year. However, the individual digital chapters, and presumably the printed comic book editions, will be available through Comixology and your local comic book store much earlier. In the story, you find out if National City wants a Supergirl, is the world ready for another superhero, and what other worldly consequences arrive once Kara Danvers reveals her true self. Find out in these stories between the episodes. There was just the one comic book for us to review this week, and that was Action Comics #47, which was reviewed by Michael Bailey, who said, "This title has taken a serious hit in terms of quality over the past few months," and he rated this issue a 3 out of 5. Superman comics available this week from December 9th include Batman Superman #27, DC Comics Bombshells #6 print edition, Earth 2 Society #7, Justice League Darkseid War Lex Luthor #1, Telos #3, and DC Comics Bombshells Chapter 21 digital comic will be available December 12th. These books are as appealing to grown-ups as they are to the tiniest aspiring superheroes. Get this touch and feel My First Superman book for $9.51. Or how about this DC Superheroes Colours, Shapes and More book for just $8.83. These and other great DC superhero books are available from your one-stop Superman shop, the Superman Homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop. In other news, DC Entertainment is set to expand the DC Superhero Girls line even further with a new graphic novel set to debut in July next year. Titled DC Superhero Girls Finals Crisis, the book will feature a story written by Shea Fontana with art by Yancy Labatt. While plot details about the story remain to be revealed, DC did announce that the book will go on sale on July 6th in comic book stores ahead of a wide release in all bookstores on July 12th. The 7th episode of the DC Superhero Girls animated short was also released this week. Titled Hero of the Month Poison Ivy, not only has she rescued classmates, friends and strangers, but you'll be amazed at how many sticky situations Poison Ivy has stopped from getting worse at Superhero High. The results are in for our 15th annual awards ceremony for the world of Superman, the Shield Awards, which gave you, the fans, the opportunity to voice your opinions about comic books with a 2015 cover date, Superman-related movies, TV shows and Superman merchandise released in 2015. The results have been forwarded on to DC Comics, Warner Brothers and the various winners, including Dan Jurgens, Jason Fabok and others. Come by the site now to see the complete list of winners in the 2015 Shield Awards, and congratulations to all those creative people involved. That's all the news there was for the week December 4th to December 10th. I'm Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott! Hello everyone, and welcome to another fabulous episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. Good to see you. Thanks for watching. So, we've had the big trailer. Everyone's excited. I was excited last week. Everyone's still talking about it. It's controversial, as was Man of Steel. But sometimes controversy can be a good thing, and I'll tell you why. The Civil War trailer came just before the Batman v Superman trailer. I don't know if it was orchestrated that way because Snyder wanted to have the last word, or Warner Brothers wanted to get in there with what I think is an even bigger, even greater trailer, and I may think that anyway because I'm a little biased to the DC side, and I'm certainly biased to Superman. I thought the Civil War trailer was great. I love all superhero movies. I've said this over and over again. I want them all to keep succeeding. As Henry Cavill said, he doesn't think it's a competition because if Marvel does well and people like the Marvel movies, then there's no reason why DC can't do well and can't like the DC movies. Clearly, superheroes are at a premium now. We've got them all over the TV. We've got them all over the movies. People like Spielberg have said it's a fad like the Western and it's going to go away. I hope not. There are so many characters that haven't been tapped, so many sequels that can be done. These movies can be recasted and done again, but hopefully not origins over and over and over, but different stories like Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Civil War, which was a big popular comic book story arc. Not a Marvel guy, didn't read it, but love all superheroes, and am looking forward to all of the superhero movies. Batman v Superman, though, I think the trailer won. I think the trailer won at Comic-Con. I think it's the most talked about movie. The trailer with hits on YouTube has more than any of the other trailers, more quickly than any of the other trailers. And the reason is, I think it was cut perfectly. Now, here's what I really wanted to talk about, and that is, just as always, people just want to find things to complain about. Now, I'm not necessarily one to talk. If you watch my show, I often complain. But here's the thing. I feel like I criticize with kind of an expert's eye. I don't know everything that there is to know, and I'm a fan like all of you. But I feel like I have a general idea. I'm a little more versed in what things should be like or how Superman is or what it should go. And you probably are too. Whereas sometimes these writers and filmmakers, and there's so many hands in the pot that they haven't done the research right, or they're not sure, or they do something. The rumor is that even Chris Nolan said you can't have Superman kill Zod in the movie, and that's probably the biggest point of contention, other than the destruction that happens in the movie, that the people who didn't like it have with the movie. So a lot of times I look at it with a discerning eye, and I've had fans tell me, you're just too negative. I can't keep watching your show because I like to think of Superman as positive. I like to hear the good things. I like to hear the happy things. I don't like to always hear complaints all the time. And here's the thing. I don't complain all the time. I just try to criticize when it is deserved. And here, in this case, I don't think it's deserved at all. This is what I'm hearing on the internets, on the webs, on the intrawebs. This is what I'm hearing. DC blew it. They gave everything away. It's terrible now. I don't even care. Any little enthusiasm that I had for the movie is now gone because DC just told me the whole thing. I know everything. What do I need to see now? I've seen the whole movie from the trailer. They should take a page out of Star Wars, the J.J. Abrams book. He doesn't show anything. There's so many secrets. Blah, 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 blah. We haven't seen diddly, and I'll tell you why. Doomsday? This is what everybody assumes is Doomsday, and it very well could be. I'm not here to say it's definitely not. I don't want to look like an idiot with egg on my face like the Martian Manhunter thing, although I didn't say that either. I just took their word for it. We were told one thing, we were sold a bill of goods, and then they yanked the rug out from under us, not because it was great writing, not because they had this idea from the beginning and they wanted to fool us, but because they told us it was Hank Henshaw, and now it's not. Spoiler alert if you haven't yet watched, and maybe that's a little late. Too bad for you. Here's the thing. DC didn't give much away. They just told us what we kind of already knew from the synopsis. I don't have it word for word, but it says something like this. Bruce Wayne returns from retirement to become the Dark Knight once again because he fears the actions of a godlike superhero loose in Metropolis and what that could mean for the world. Meanwhile, while the two are, filing their own beefs with each other, we find out that there's a greater threat to the Earth that mankind has never seen, that eventually the two will have to team up to face together. Something along those lines, even if it doesn't say that word for word. So, and even if it doesn't say the team up thing, the idea that a threat greater than mankind has ever seen before, which could very well be Doomsday and could easily be Doomsday. Doomsday was the one that killed Superman in the comics. He was the one that laid waste to the entire Justice League, that trampled the whole Eastern Seaboard and was unstoppable if Superman did not fight him throughout most of an entire book. that was longer than a normal comic book. And a lot of people's major complaint with that story was that Doomsday didn't really have a purpose other than to kill Superman and cause destruction. He had no personality, he didn't talk. So that was a problem. And now you got Snyder, who's directing a movie that apparently has Doomsday in it and has already been complained about for having too much destruction and too many things exploding. The other thing I'm hearing about the trailer is, oh, looks like Snyder's going to destroy more of Metropolis with Superman and more of the world. Thing is, if that is Doomsday, that is what he does. That is what he was built for. Now, in this case, we don't know if it's Doomsday for sure, although everybody seems pretty positive. It could be Wraith. People have said maybe Bizarro. You may not know this, but Doomsday doesn't normally spout from his eyes and ears and all of his orifices and skin pores a giant exploding heat vision, mouth vision type of a thing. Not that it means it can't be Doomsday, because they could just change it up a little bit, and they're already changing it up if they're using the Zod's body and it's Lex. Lex didn't create Doomsday. Lex was not even thought of when Doomsday was created, and he was created way off in space on Krypton by some scientists who tried to create an ultimate war machine, and it got out of control because he couldn't be stopped. He evolves, he changes. When he was made to be an unstoppable force, but they thought they'd be able to control him. Turns out, not even they could, and they sent him off into space in hibernation, thinking that space would kill him, but he evolved again, and he was able to outlive the vacuum and coldness of space, eventually crashing on Earth, being unearthed, and then wanting to destroy everything, because that's what he was built for. And as far as knowing everything, the other complaint I'm hearing is, well, now we know that Batman and Superman are going to team up. This movie's called Batman v Superman. I didn't know if it was going to be the whole movie of them fighting, and I didn't want to know that they were ever going to be friends. I think most of us already knew that was going to happen. We're leading into Justice League. This is called Dawn of Justice. They're going to build the Justice League out of this. They've got to come together. They've got to be allies. Didn't really give anything away other than now we definitely know what's happening, although it seemed pretty obvious that that's what was going to happen in the first place. The other thing that I had a problem with was Lex. I haven't heard too much about that, although I keep seeing posts about missing Michael Rosenbaum now, and they put up Jesse Eisenberg. And I kind of agree with that. Michael Rosenbaum did a great job along with John Glover. And Jesse Eisenberg had a lot to live up to. John Shea was great before that. And I just don't think he was well cast. That doesn't mean that we're not going to see some good things. We can't judge the entire thing by what we've seen. But from the trailers we have seen, from the voiceovers we have heard from Lex, and from the scenes we've seen him in, it all looks about the same, and it looks like the standard Jesse Eisenberg attitude that I just knew wasn't right for the kind of Lex I wanted to see. But let's see where they go. But we don't know how they got to where they're at. We don't know why they're fighting exactly. We don't know how Batman's going to be able to stand in a fight with them. Superman says, stay down. If I wanted you dead, you would be. Again, not sure that that's an overly Supermanish type of a thing to say. But depending on the situation, and maybe he's even talking to the ultimate villain, the Doomsday, or whatever that is, maybe it is Doomsday. And the other thing is that you hear people saying how terrible Doomsday. I think it looks great. I think that the creature looked fantastic. People are comparing him to the Abomination from the Hulk movie a few years ago. They're probably similar animals. And on Smallville, they made Doomsday pretty much the Hulk. Davis Bloom was this nice guy who did great things. And then he was a paramedic to save people's lives. Then he hulked out and he turned into Doomsday. So it was very much the Hulk. Doomsday's not exactly the Hulk, but it's a similar type of an idea. This creature that just can't be stopped, that destroys things. But again, we're not certain that this is Doomsday. And even if the film people have said that it is, could be a thing to throw us off. I mean, several weeks ago, one of the production designers said, sorry guys, it would be nice if Doomsday was here, but he's not in this film. And not that long later, the tweet disappeared and was never heard from again. Is that because Doomsday was in the movie and they didn't want to spoil it? Is that because Doomsday wasn't in the movie and they didn't want to spoil it? Or is that just because they didn't want to say anything about the movie and he was speaking out of turn? We don't know, but there's so much secrecy. Everyone's assuming this is Doomsday. They didn't tell us that. Although now, since people are assuming it, it could be possible that they're saying, oh yeah, and then it's not going to be. Because they don't want us to know. They want us to find out later, oh, it's not, or maybe it is, and we'll see how they change his origin. But there's so many things we don't know. How did he exactly get created? What is he? Is he Doomsday? How's he going to be defeated in this movie? He wasn't, the entire Justice League wasn't able to stop him the first time he came in the comics, but now these three, a guy in a bat suit and two superpowered individuals, are going to be able to bring him down or kill him or stop him. It's the scene in the desert. Everyone assumes it's a nightmare. I hope it's a nightmare. But why? What's the deal? Why is Batman going through all this? We don't know these things. We don't really know much of anything. We've just seen some action scenes. We've been introduced to the idea that there's a greater threat, which was in the synopsis. And we know, since Justice League is coming, that these guys were going to team up, and we knew that Wonder Woman was there. So, really, not that much more was revealed, except great drama, great action, great excitement. I teared up again when I watched it today, showed it to my wife. She was excited about it. It's a great thing, but people will just find things to complain about just to complain. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Stop complaining, and remember, do not pick a fight with this person.